guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, I'm going to go over this great email I sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he's 32 years old, he's an accountant, he's done very well for himself. His whole life since he was a kid, he's had a very good work ethic, saved his money, invested it, all that, homeowner. And he shares his story, how he sent his girlfriend packing after he discovered what she really thought about him. Our guy really handles things like a boss, where one day his gut was telling him something was off. So he, did a little eavesdropping, if you will, and found out by listening to a conversation she had with her friends what she really thought about him, and his life, and his dog, and what she planned to do if he would marry her. And like that, boom, she is toast. And I thought it'd be a really good one to go over here, guys. Really making the point that you always trust your gut. And if your gut tells you something is not right or something's off or you need to do some recon, don't ever feel bad about that. That means listening in on conversations, the girl talk, checking her phone, checking her messages, all that, because believe me, it could really save your neck in this situation, just like that. And our guy here is now being back to being a bachelor with his dog, and he's quite happy, and thank God he did do what he did. So it starts off, says here, hey SSM, I want to give a big thank you for what you do for us guys on YouTube. Thank you for all the stories that you have shared. I know that I always have to keep my eyes open for the BS and verify accordingly. Brother, you are welcome, and I'm glad the channel here has helped you and your dog avoid what could have happened if you didn't know any better. Well, a few weeks back, I ended a 2-year relationship with my girlfriend, who I will call Susan, after I heard what she really thinks of me, my life, and what she plans to do after we got married. I want to point out that we weren't even engaged, but she clearly thought that she was so amazing that sooner or later I was going to propose. I wasn't. Some quick background on me. I'm 32, an accountant, and I moved to Florida in 2019 after I got a nice job offer. Aha! Another Floridian brother. After I got my master's, I wanted to relocate from my home state to Florida, as I always loved it down there. This turned out to be the luckiest timing ever, as it was 1 year before COVID hit the world, and 1 year before housing prices, in particularly Florida, went through the roof. Dude, if you bought your house in 2019, yeah, through the roof. My neighbor, he bought his in 2019, whoosh, lucked out. But then again, so did your property taxes and insurance rates, but obviously you're managing. Well, I took the money that I saved up and invested over the years. I always had jobs since I was 13 years old. And I put a down payment on a small house once I got my job. While the house wasn't anything super fancy, it was certainly nice, in a nice neighborhood, and it was mine. I took great pride in being a homeowner at 25 years old and been making various renovations on it ever since. Brother, bravo, good for you. That's awesome. You know, and never apologize for your success and doing well. You earned that. I like the fact that you said you were working since you were 13. Obviously, little part-time jobs under the table, whatever, saving your money, investing it. You're an accountant, you're a money guy, so obviously you're not being stupid with it, you know? That's awesome. After moving in, I did the next thing any young guy would want, other than a girlfriend. I adopted a dog. My dog is a lab, who I renamed Thor, and he's been my best friend overnight. He became my best friend overnight. Bro, I'm liking you more and more. That's awesome you adopted a dog. Thor the dog. Good name. Well, the next year, COVID had come and gone, housing prices spiked, and I felt pretty darn good about the lucky timing. I really enjoy my job and have been quite dedicated to gaining experience and moving up. I was on my grind in my 20s, like you preached about, and I had my boy at my side. I saw some girls here and there, but relationships weren't really a priority for me. Why would they be? You got your whole life ahead. You're in your 20s. That's when you grind. You're light years ahead of a lot of people, man, but keep on the grind. You can get girlfriends, and if you want to get married one day, maybe not so much after the story, plenty of time. Just you and Thor. Around the time I turned 30 years old, okay, so we're talking like 5 years later, I met Susan. We met at a barbecue that my friend Jason was hosting. She came along with a friend of her friend, that type of thing. We hit it off, I got her phone number, and a couple weeks later, we went out. Okay, enter Susan. I want to point out that about a year earlier, I found your channels and listened to it fairly regularly to keep me informed about what was going on in today's dating and relationship scene. After going out with a few Floridian wackos, the stories definitely hit home. Yeah, a lot of wackos down here. Anyway, Susan and I dated a few weeks, and then she started hinting about getting serious. That quickly, huh? After plenty of dates with some wackos, I made it clear that I wanted to take my time, so we both really got to know each other before getting serious. Well, around 5 months of this, I agreed to be exclusive. Dude, you were learning something. I'm glad you took your time. It wasn't so much because you were out banging other chicks. You just, before you got serious, you really wanted to test drive the vehicle. That's the best way to describe it. For 5 months. Take your time. But it's no guarantee you're going to see everything because, well, I know how this story is going to go. But people tend to appreciate things they got to work for. If you just, after 2 weeks, agree to be in a relationship with her, would have been a different story. I want to point out that I was not dating or hooking up with anybody else at this time. I was just taking my time to get to know her. Also, to my knowledge, she wasn't seeing anybody else. Knowing what I know now is certainly possible, but I really don't care at this point. Yeah, dude, for all we know, given how the story goes, she could have been with other dudes. Who the hell knows? But I know you don't care anymore. Well, jumping ahead a couple of months ago, we had been serious for about 1.5 years. We've been having a great time together, took multiple small and large vacations, met each other's families, etc., etc. I really liked her. She's a beautiful girl. But she was definitely dropping hints, once again, about the future. Where is this going? Okay, so now you're 32. Is that right? Yeah, you're 32 years old now, and she's in her late 20s. She's 28. I can see that already ahead. Naturally, she's wanting to know where things are going. Okay, fair enough. But still. At this point, I'm 32, and she's 28. I certainly understood her not wanting to waste her time, nor am I a guy that would intentionally waste somebody else's time. The thing is, something just wasn't there. Now we're getting somewhere. Now, obviously, you've been focused on yourself, your grind. It's you and Thor for the last 7 years, You don't want to change anything unless it's absolutely right. You're an accountant. You want some guarantees, some precision. Well, there ain't no guarantees in love, but you get my point. I cared about her, but certainly was not in love with her. It makes no sense to propose or promise a future with someone that you're not in love with. I honestly began to think that it might be best to end things as she's still in her late 20s, and I would feel bad about wasting her time or hurting her. However, what I soon discovered or overheard ended any possibility of feeling bad for her. Yep. Yeah, man, I mean, if you're with somebody for a while and she wants to take things to the next level, if you will, marriage and all that, and you're not really into her, you like her, but you're not that much, and then the decent thing to do, really, is to end it. Kindly, as long as they haven't been assholes. But we're going to see, guys, she wasn't so great. And I'll point out 2 years is with her, and what happens, you'll see. Well, a couple weeks ago, okay, so it's late May, this happened early May, she had a couple of her friends over to my house. She was not living with me, thank God, but did spend a few nights a week with me. Her inventory of shit definitely piled up at my place, as she was certainly trying to mark her territory and probably make a point. That's what they do, guys. They come over once a week, then it's twice a week, and 3 times a week, and more their shit piles up at your house. You bet your ass they're marking their territory, slowly moving in. And if you're not careful, they're going to start rearranging your fucking house. Remember that. Be careful. Well, I had a really nice patio constructed in the backyard 2 years back and eventually got a hot tub. Susan loved to go in it with me at night and asked if she could have 2 of her girlfriends over Saturday night for a barbecue and hot tub time. Like I was going to turn down 2 other babes in a hot tub. Anyway, she had her little party, and I did my own thing. About 8 o'clock, I wanted to grab some more beer, so Thor and I got in the car and went over to the local Publix. Publix is a massive grocery store chain in Florida, and they sell beer there. After picking up the brew, I looked at my phone's Ring Cam app and saw that she and her friends were at the table on the patio. I had 3 Ring cameras installed around my property. They looked like they were having a serious conversation. Now, normally, I'm not the one to eavesdrop, but I've heard enough of your stories about what guys discover when they check their girlfriends' phones or listen to their conversations. So, something in my gut was telling me I should listen, so I turned on the volume and began to listen. Any of you guys don't know what Ring cameras are. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you do. You can install them in different locations of your house, outside, inside, and have the app on your phone. I have one too. It's fucking cool. And I put one in the house. When I go away on a little vacation, I can watch my cats run around. They have great audio. And you can have it on your phone. You can rewind and listen to things and all that. And depending on the plan you get, it can store it. And no, I'm not getting paid by Ring to endorse this. I'm just telling you. I recommend you get it. Well, in a nutshell, Susan was talking about me, our relationship, and it wasn't very good. I decided to scroll back on the footage to hear everything. It says Ring cameras can pick up on everything with very great audio. She was expressing how she was pissed off that we weren't engaged yet. Well, I mean, if she was a good person and good to you, I can see why she'd be not happy about it, but still, I know where this is going. That other guys would be happy to marry her, blah, blah, blah. Now, here comes the ugly part, SSM. Upon just talking to her friends, she expressed that she hated the fact that I lived in this small house, and with my income that I could afford much better. There we go. I'm sure she acted like everything was cool in that house, that she was moving all her shit in the house. Now you know. She also stated that after we were married, and he says, hello, we weren't even engaged yet, she would make me sell this house, and she wasn't going to be seen in this house or this neighborhood. You weren't even engaged yet, yeah. She also wanted me to get a better paying job, a better car, and the final nail in the coffin, she wanted me to get rid of that dog. Oh, hell no. It's bad enough about the house, but Thor? You fucking kidding me? That's fucking evil. Guys, there are women that will do this. They'll do it because they want all your attention on them and what they want. It's fucking horrible. As an animal lover, oh hell no. The problem is there are weak-ass bitch guys out there that would do this. It says, SSM, the stuff about me and my house and my car, that I was very proud of, by the way, I could part ways with her and move on. But her speaking about Thor and saying that she would make me get rid of him was unforgivable. Damn fucking right about that. It says, who the fuck did this bitch think she was? Even a woman that I was in love with would never get me to give away my dog. All I can say was that the relationship was 100% over, and thank God for security cameras. Amen, and thank God you listened in. This is my point, guys. And this is the girl seemingly was, pretty cool and all that. Hello? Well, when I went back home, I knew I couldn't get rid of her that night as they'd all been drinking. I don't know, man. I think I would have found a way. I put on my best poker face and kept Thor in the bedroom with me. When Uber picked up her drunk hoe-bag friends, Susan came to bed and passed out. The next morning, she stumbled out of bed to take a shower and was going to head back to her apartment to meet her parents for Sunday brunch. I faked a friendly goodbye, and the second she was out the door, I took garbage bags and went around the house and picked up as much of her shit as I could squeeze in them. There was so much clothes, shoes, makeup, etc. It was ridiculous. Well, garbage bags is quite appropriate for her. I knew she'd be away for hours as the Sunday brunch thing they go to is nearly 45 minutes away. I drove to her house with Thor in the car with me when I knew she'd be gone. I left the 3 bags in front of her apartment at the door with a note saying, I'll be keeping my house, the car, and Thor. Awesome, man. It would be even better if you left some of Thor's personal effects, his droppings in the bags with her stuff, but, I'm an asshole that way. I then took a couple pictures of the bags and drove home. Once I got home, I texted her snapshots of her talking to her friends from the Ring camera app. I also texted her pictures of the garbage bags. I told her that we were done, stay the hell away from my house, and never contact me again, and I blocked her number. Awesome, bro. But do you really think that she's not going to, she invested, in her mind, invested 2 years of her very important woman years with you? There ain't no way you're not going to hear from her. Well, to no surprise, I started getting calls, texts, and messages from what I guess were one of her parents' phone numbers, carrying on and on about everything. I deleted and blocked them too. Then, over the next couple days, more of the same, probably from her friend's phone, and I blocked them too. Of course. Now she's going to show up at your goddamn house. Eventually, she clearly got the point, and I haven't heard from her in about 10 days. I also want to point out that I immediately had the locks changed, got a dash cam for my car, and who knows what that asshole might do. Dude, yeah. If you don't already have other security measures like an actual alarm system or whatever, get that too. And quite frankly, as Florida, you know also about other measures that can be taken to protect one's home. I'm going to watch what I say here on YouTube, but most you know what I'm talking about here. Protect yourself, protect your home, protect your boy Thor. The bitch is crazy. So SSM, that is my story. I really did like her, but perhaps my gut knew this was a bad idea. I just wish I didn't waste 2 years with her. The nerve that she actually was convinced that I was going to marry her and she could actually get me to get rid of everything that I care about, especially my dog, shows the attitude that women have these days. Yes, exactly. Because they're just so amazing. But again, there are guys that would do this. That's the fucking problem. That's why all guys should watch this content. The sad thing is there are plenty of guys out there that would get rid of everything, including a beloved pet, to make their woman happy, but not me. Thank you for everything that you do, and as a message to all the guys out there, always check up on your girl. You never know what you may find out. Amen, brother. Well, great job handling. I'm sorry it happened, that you wasted 2 years with her, because you said vacations and your families got along and you had a good time with her. But it's interesting that you said yourself, and maybe that's just who you are, or maybe because you've been listening to my channel long enough that you're smart enough to let yourself fall in love with. I mean, guys, you can love your girl, but don't be in love with her, because if you're in love with her, you'll do stupid shit like maybe sell the house that you love, or get rid of the car you love, or even your pet. But I can't imagine anybody that would, but there are guys that would do that. You can love your girl, don't be in love with her. But it didn't sound like he even loved her at all, which is obviously why he was already thinking about ending it with her. But notice how she just automatically assumed that he's going to propose to her and she's going to get him to marry her. Maybe she had other ideas in mind, like, getting pregnant. I don't know. But that was she was planning behind the scenes. That's what a lot of them do. I'm not saying they all would do this, but a lot do. I had a personal training client years ago. This woman I work with, she's really cool. She had a cat, ha ha ha. And she recently adopted another cat. And I said, hey, that's awesome. We gave another cat a home. Again, animal lover. And she told me that cat had been abandoned by a guy who had her or him for 10 years. Guess what happened? That fucker gave away his cat of 10 years he had with because he got a new girlfriend. And she was moving in. And she didn't want to claim that she was allergic to cats. Giving up your cat or your dog for 10 years. But that's the kind of pussies that are out there. I want to kick that guy's fucking ass when I heard that story. Fortunately, my coworker, my client, and she was cool, did everything she could to welcome the cat in, but it took him time to adapt. But there are guys that would do that because they're such fucking spineless pussies. So never do that. But anyhow, brother, I'm going on because I'm an animal person. You guys know me at this point. But bro, great job handling that. I'm glad you're doing really well in your life. You're a fellow Floridian. I wish you well. Keep moving up in your career. But, yeah, always pay attention, guys. Red flags, your gut, looking in on things from time to time. This is the world we're in. You got to do that. It just is what it is. So, bro, best of luck to you, and I really hope that things go well with you on your path. You sound like a really good guy. And by the way, it ain't over with her. There ain't no way there's going to be some final thing. So just when you probably think you're safe, that's when she may show up at your door or something like that. So just keep your eyes peeled and keep an eye on Thor. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.